Let's take a look at PBS NewsHour's breakdown of what happened last night. It was Super Tuesday.
Welcome to the NewsHour. Nikki Haley's bid for the White House is now over.
The former South Carolina governor suspended her campaign today, setting up a rematch between President Biden and former President Trump. Speaking in Charleston this morning, Haley did not promise to back her party's likely nominee.
It is now up to Donald Trump to earn the votes of those in our party and beyond it who did not support him. And I hope he does that. At its best, politics is about bringing people into your cause, not turning them away. And our conservative cause badly needs more people. This is now his time for choosing.
To discuss what comes next in the race for the White House, I'm joined now by Republican strategist Kevin Madden, who's worked on Mitt Romney's presidential bids. Kevin, good to see you again.
Great to be with you.
So let's just start with Haley's announcement today. What do you make of that announcement on this day after what happened yesterday on Super Tuesday?
Well, I think the numbers and the math became very obvious, and that Nikki Haley realized and her campaign realized that she just didn't have a path to the nomination. I think it's pretty startling if you look at Trump's numbers and how dominant he was in this Republican presidential primary. 64% of the overall vote, 24 contests versus Nikki Haley, who won 2 contests, and 90% of the delegates. There is a voice for Nikki Haley and Nikki Haley-like candidates, I think, inside the party, but it is very clear right now that this is a Donald Trump party driven and fueled by a MAGA base. And the Haley campaign came to that realization based on the numbers they saw yesterday.
So I'm curious what she does now. She did not endorse Trump in her speech. She said she prays for him and wishes him the best, which I think is fine and appropriate. But what does she do with her 20-30% of the GOP that wants nothing to do with Trump, that voted for her? Does she end up bending the knee and endorsing Trump later? I'm not sure. I don't know. Does she get behind Biden's campaign? I doubt it. I think as of right now, she's just kind of standing still. Very interesting to see what she does. Can she even get away with not endorsing Trump? I don't know. If Haley had any principles, she wouldn't endorse Trump. If she endorses him, she's just a traitor like the rest of the Republican Party. Well, look, okay, we have to be a little more practical about this, right? So it's a bit dangerous for someone to go after Trump in today's day and age. Mitt Romney himself said that there are people in Congress that did not vote for impeachment, did not vote to convict Trump in the impeachment trial because of concerns for their public safety, their personal safety, that not everybody can afford to pay for security like him, where he said he pays $5,000 a day to protect him and his family. So it's just the state of the GOP that you go against Trump, you are going to receive a lot of harassment and you're going to have to look over your shoulder the rest of your life. And so I don't blame these people for endorsing Trump. Now, they contributed to creating that monster that has been turned against them by not standing up earlier and fighting against Trump. But I just try to be realistic about what to expect. And so the idea that they should be principled and stand up to him, I agree, but the reality is that that's not always possible. Nothing will change until MAGA is purged or dead. I don't disagree, but I think, and don't just take it from me, but people like Ken Buck, who is a Freedom Caucus Republican who is leaving Congress, he's a House member, he said that he thinks MAGA is going to face a reckoning in November. And I wouldn't be surprised if that comes to fruition. I think there's going to be some upsets. Perhaps somebody like Ted Cruz loses, or the state of Florida goes blue, or North Carolina goes blue. I think there's going to be some upsets that will really surprise some people, because as it stands right now, everybody thinks Biden's going to lose and that the Democrats are flailing. And that's not what the election results are telling us. That's not what we're seeing with the actual turnout and the voters with their action. Yes, if you poll somebody and you say, what do you think about Biden? Most people are going to be like, he's too old and he sucks. It's like, okay, but when push comes to shove 8 months from now, after people are just painted a picture of how terrible Trump will be in a second term, and this is the end of America as we know it, and abortions will be illegal, and women won't be able to vote or whatever other thing that they're scared about. I feel like a lot of people are going to come out and clap back on this nonsense that is the Republican Party right now. People are tired of this noise. They're tired of the fighting. They don't want to go back to Trump being president and the mean tweets and the fake news and the stolen election nonsense. I think people have been enjoying the quiet with Biden. They bitch and moan about the inflation and they think he's old and he screws up words, but I feel like they kind of forgot what Trump was like, and they're going to be reminded here in the next 8 months. And boy, I think they're going to react. Roe v. Wade being stripped is hardly being talked about right now. Once again, I believe that issue will be a big driver. I think abortion will be the biggest issue, if not right behind democracy. I agree. Because abortion impacts normies. You don't have to describe it for them. You don't have to tell them what's going on. It just hits hard. It's not like trans women in sports where if your local kid doesn't have a trans athlete on the team, then you have no clue. That doesn't affect your life in any way. Or the southern border, it doesn't impact your life if you live in Maine. So, but you can have a visceral reaction where you're pissed off when you see something on the news, but abortion is something that everybody is touched by, and people are going to react to that for sure. They already have.
Same vein, we today saw outgoing Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell endorse Mr. Trump officially, despite past criticism of him, especially after the January 6th insurrection. Here's a part of what Mr. McConnell said.
I said in February of 2021, shortly after the attack on the Capitol, that I would support President Trump if he were the nominee of our party, and he obviously is going to be the nominee of our party.
So, Kevin, Haley has not endorsed Mr. Trump. Do you think she will?
I think she will ultimately, but it is going to be an endorsement.
Wow, listen to that. He thinks she will ultimately endorse him. Interesting.
That is going to feel like an extraction over a long period of time. I think clearly, first of all, the open wounds of a presidential primary will take some time to heal. But I think if she's looking to still have a voice in the party and still play a role in the direction of the party, that ultimately playing a role in unifying that party, which has its divisions, would be probably in her best political interests.
So this guy is like K Street Republican strategist here, just saying that it would be in her best interest to endorse Trump. And I agree. I'm shocked she hasn't yet, because what's the point? She's going to have to look over her shoulder the rest of her life if she keeps going down this road. She's the leader of the opposition. I guess she's trying to set herself up to be the party leader come 2028, but that's a long time from now. Maybe Nikki Haley is actually a principled person who refuses to just bend the knee to Donald Trump. But she gets no credit for it at all. She's playing the long game, I guess, but I just feel like somebody else will come along that's more exciting and interesting. Nobody's going to look back at, remember when Nikki Haley stood up to Donald Trump in the 2024 campaign? I mean, think about 5 years from now, or 4 years from now in 2028. Like, you think anybody's going to be like, man, think about 4 years ago. Like, what happened 4 years ago in 2020 that was a principled thing that somebody did? Nobody has any clue. That's a lifetime in politics, 4 years. So who knows what she's up to.